Now, types of regression testing. So before going into the types of regression testing, let us understand what is the build is. Let us see what the build or a patch. Now suppose when an external or internal test teams or a customer begins using a product, they report the defect. Now these defects are analyzed by each developer who makes an individual defect fixes. The developers then do the appropriate unit testing and check the defect fixes into the configuration management system. The source code for the complete product is compiled and these defect fixes along the existing features get consolidated into the build. So, the build is an aggregation of all the different fixes. In a common word or in a very simple word, I say is a version released. Now, if you're using your Office, Microsoft Office, or your Windows, how your Windows are being released? Like Windows, first we use Windows 93, 95, Windows 2000. Now we have Windows 10, Windows, earlier we used Windows 7, earlier we had Vista, XP. How your operating system changed its version and released into a new features, new of applications with modified applications, I must say, with modified features, with latest technology it was released, but it was of different versions. That means it was built. When they launch a new operating system, later when they analyzed, they collected some of the defects, and when they thought that we should release those defects and we should say like 10.1 or 10.2 instead of that what they said, okay, if I'm using Windows 7, so let's release Windows 10. Same with Microsoft Office. Why they have done this? Just because of new features built it up, new modification had come up. So this has to be configured. This has to be there included in your application. That's why they have released these patches or a build. Now, there are two types of regression testing in practice. So first is regular regression testing and then second is final regression testing. Now let's see one by one. Let us study about regular regression testing, which is done between the test cycle to ensure that the defect fixes are done and the functionality that they are working with earlier test cycle continues to work. So regular regression testing can use more than one product built for the test cases to be executed. Next, a final regression testing is done to validate the final build before the release. So, the regression test cycle is conducted for a specified period of duration, which is mutually agreed by the development team, development and testing, because they have to conduct this. So the final regression test cycle is conducted for a specified duration, and therefore this is called as cook time, this entire procedure. And this cook time is necessary to keep the testing product for a certain duration to see if any memory defect is coming up. If suppose I'm talking about the memory defect, then there must be a memory leak or expand of memory or a less of memory. This memory leaks. I just gave an example. You can say a different test cycle. So in that period, you see the application is working something differently. So in your application, in your logic, it could be something else. For me, it's a memory one. So for the memory defect, I say it's a memory leak. Now, the product is continuously exercised for the complete duration of the cook time to ensure that such time-bound defects are identified, so that between those duration, those cook time, in case of any defects, in case the application is behaving abnormally, it can come out. In case of like I'm using the file operation like new save and it's not working out, so it can come out. So this kind of defects can come out. Now, the final regression testing cycle is more critical because the final is there because now we are in the end term and now we are going to deliver because this going to give to the quality assurance team and then they could define the quality against our product and then it could be delivered to a customer. So this the end phase, the last phase or the final regression testing cycle is more critical. It is. This is only the testing that ensure the same build of the product that was tested and reached to the customer. The regression testing type is like bug fixes everywhere from the new feature till the test cycle. We are doing the bug fixes. We identify and we fix the bugs. So now in next lecture we'll see about regression testing technique. Till then, enjoy your types of regression testing.